Scream Dreams Experiment. Walter Clifford was 102 years old and still breathing. The last of the Texas oil barons, he lived alone in a marble compound the size of a town, high on a hill in West Texas, where the vultures circled like time itself. Clifford Oil, once America's black gold empire, had been built on the blood and bones of the desperate. Walter knew death was coming. He just refused to go quietly. So, he turned to science, or what the government pretended wasn't science. And he began the Scream Dreams experiment. The clinic looked like a shelter. Blank walls, warm coffee, gentle voices. No one asked questions. They came from under bridges, off freight trains, and over borders. The homeless, the addicted, the undocumented, lured by whispers of payment for sleep studies, by the promise of comfort, beds, food. They were told it was about dreams. A neural sleep program, said the doctor, always in a lab coat, always with cold eyes. We map your brain patterns during REM cycles. You sleep, we pay. But there were screams, muffled. Behind doors no one was allowed to open, and sometimes the patients didn't wake up. Others were willed out, twitching, drooling, eyes wide open and silent forever. Walter Clifford sat in a reclined surgical throne beneath a chandelier of IV drips. His face sagged like wax, but his mind was still sharp and angry. Machines kept him breathing. Artificial blood warmed his body, but his organs, rotted with time and poison, were failing. He needed a match. The team had screened thousands. The underground network combed jails, slums, refugee camps. Finally, they found one. A perfect match. Mark Reyes, 37, American-born, ex-FBI, clean bill of health, and most importantly, no known next of kin. What they didn't know was that Jessica Reyes, who had died in experiment batch number 31, was Mark's stepsister. Mark hadn't seen Jessica in over a decade. Their last words had been angry ones. She'd gone south to chase a man who ended up in cartel hands, and he stayed north to chase law and justice. But when he received a package, no return address, containing a photo of her body, strapped to a dream machine, her eyes stitched shut and labeled failure, something in Mark shattered. He quit the bureau the next day, faked his death, and went into the underworld. Mark resurfaced with a new name, new face, new identity. He posed as a drifter, addicted, broken, desperate, and Clifford's men noticed him. Within a month, he was tagged for testing and brought to the Dream Facility, a hidden compound built inside a dried-out oil refinery, miles from any real map. Inside, he saw them, bodies in tanks, floating, machines drilling into skulls, eyes wide open, dreaming nightmares they couldn't escape. The dreams weren't being studied, they were being extracted. Something about mapping pure terror into neural codes to preserve consciousness or transfer it. But that was cover. Clifford didn't care about dreams. He wanted Mark's liver, his heart, his blood. Walter Clifford had spent billions developing a system to dream siphon consciousness. His plan wasn't to move his mind into another body, too unstable. He wanted the organs, young and healthy, implanted piece by piece, while keeping the host alive through forced coma and dream suppression. Mark wasn't meant to die. He was meant to sleep forever, screaming in his dreams, while Walter lived on with his body. The process would begin at midnight, but Mark was ready. He'd hidden a scalpel in his waistband, smuggled a microbomb into his bloodstream inside a fake implant. He let them strap him down, let the IVS go in, let the machines power up. He even let Clifford wheel himself in to watch the procedure begin. Jessica screamed too, Walter whispered, eyes like death itself. But she was broken. You are perfect. Mark smiled. Yeah, so's my timing. He bit down on the sensor hidden in his tooth. The lights flickered. Explosions tore through the eastern wing. Backup power came on just as the alarm started. Mark pulled free, stabbed the surgeon in the throat, and lunged for Clifford's chair. "You wanted my body?" he hissed. "Take it to hell." He stabbed Walter in the chest with the dream siphon needle and turned the machine on. They found the Clifford compound 3 days later, burnt out and reeking of chemicals. The media blamed it on methane leaks. Accidental explosion at secretive Clifford Research Division. No one mentioned the body's missing heads or the tanks full of harvested organs. No one could explain the strange recordings recovered from the facility. Endless screaming, not in human voices, but many, like dreams torn from souls and forced to repeat. 1 year later in Mexico City, a refugee child was found alone in a train station, eyes bloodshot, unable to speak, but screaming in her sleep. They say her nightmares mention a Texas man, a lab of dreams, and an old voice whispering, "Let me wear your body a while." They thought it was about sleep. They were wrong. It was about stealing life from the dying world, one dream at a time. The end.